Hi folks, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be tying this, the Chum-Dogg Intruder, named by a good friend of the channel, Kevin Rhea from Canada. He's one of the guides up in the Skeena River system, roundabout Terrace. Very much a surprise pattern, certainly something I tied up before I went out. I was told that the chum salmon typically don't bite. I put this on and oh boy do they bite. As you can see from the thumbnail, big 18-20 pound chum got stuck into this. I had 2 of these and on the second day lost both of them to big fish, having hooked into 9 of these big fish and landed 4 of them. They're not an easy one to catch, but yeah, certainly very productive pattern. So let's get stuck into it and I'll show you what it's all about. So getting us started folks, what we've got in the vise is a Waddington shank 35mm. We've got some Intruder wire, probably about £50 test, with a 2/0 hook in the back. So basically I've got it started, as you can see, just to save a little bit of time getting the wire attached to the shank and putting the hook in place. Key thing to remember tying this fly is you need a good bit of wire here. You want to be putting on a 2/0 or 3/0 hook. We're not using small hooks with this fly, so give yourself enough room to be able to change this off for the size of hook you want. So jumping straight into it, what I'm going to do first is go in with a dubbing loop at this point. Sort of standard intruder style approach. I'm going to come in with some purple dubbing. This is the stuff from Loop that I like using because it's got a whole lot of stuff in it. I think it's a magenta name or something along those lines, but it certainly does the trick. So as always, just winding this up, creating your dubbing rope from here. Once I've spun that up, what I'm going to do next is just come in with my Hackle plier and cut away the dubbing spinner, and then just come in at the back and start to make a ball. Doesn't need to be too big, but you do want to have this stacked up to a point. You also don't want it falling to bits on you, which can sometimes happen. So I'll just finish this by hand. So that's enough of that. I'll just come in and catch that on. Also using a black Uni 6/0 thread. Again, you can use any thread that you want, but I'd use something that's got a reasonable bit of strength about it. It's probably not a job for a 98/0 at this point. Certainly wouldn't be using a nano silk for this fly. Okay, just making sure that's nice and in shape. Brush some of this out, just get a bit of bulk going, flowing backwards. Just brush this out all round about. Okay, good stuff. Next I'm going to come in, I'm going to catch on, this is a purple UV marabou. So just catch this on and bring it up nice and tight against that dubbing ball. Cover up any excess that you've got going on. And then you can come in, I'm actually going to use a Hackle plier at this point because this has got a slightly shorter stem. You can come in and get a few turns in. Again, depending on what you're using, you can decide how much of this you want, but you don't want it too heavy. You want a lot of movement but not a lot of bulk, as always when tying these. So just come in when you've got what you want, create a bit of a space and catch it. And then you can chop away the excess. Tidy up, and as always push this back against the dubbing ball, which will cause it to flare. Okay, good stuff. Okay, good stuff. At this point I'm going to add in a little bit of flash. This is it's called Pink Chinook from Sean Stanton. Again, doesn't need to be a lot, just using a bit at this stage, and you can trim as appropriate because it's quite long as it stands. So just catch it on the top, couple of turns down, and then what you can do is basically fold this back and let it flow quite naturally around the shank, and just tie it in where it wants to sit as you come back up. And then you can trim these end bits to a length that you're happy with. Alright, cool, good stuff. Next we're coming in with some blue dubbing from Loop. It's this glacier blue that I quite like, and this is going to form the body. You want to keep this relatively light, so I would suggest doing this little by little, bit by bit, and just build up as you go, but you'll be able to see how light I'm trying to keep this. Don't want this to be really puffed up with dubbing so much that it won't sink properly. Okay, good stuff. When you're happy with the body, you can progress to the next stage. Typically on an Intruder you would have another dubbing loop here with a ball being formed. I'm not going to do that. I want to keep this a bit lighter, given that we've got quite a lot of dubbing in this already. So I'm actually going to come in with some blue shlappen at this point, and this is going to basically provide a bit of a foundation platform for that front section to puff out behind. So just catching it on by the tip, and then I'm going to get 1 or 2 turns at this point, and this will sit out quite nicely and provide, as I said, that platform for the other materials to sit against. So again, just creating a space, coming through, catching it and folding it back. And then cutting away that excess. And just tease out any of the bits you need to bring out. Okay, cool, good stuff. Next we're going to come in with, this is some dark blue craft fur. So I've already cut it away from the main piece. I'm just lining up the ends off camera, and what we're going to do is catch this in forward. You might have seen me do this before, and we're going to roll it around the shank at the same time. Okay, this bit here, I wouldn't cut these because this is going to help give you that bit of volume. Then all you want to do is start to stroke this back and get it into a point where it's all flowing backwards, and you can tie your thread off in front and then start to push it back with the thread. And you can see right away this has got a lot more volume at the front of this fly just by doing that. Okay, good stuff. So we're going to move on to adding some Rhea onto the fly. So I've got some dark blue and some pink that we've put together. And just going to go top and bottom at this point. Doesn't need to be too fancy. So there's top. And then I'm going to come in underneath, pinch and loop upwards, a couple of turns, and there's the bottom. Then, as always, tighten up and tie backwards against that craft fur. It'll help that pop out quite nicely. And then you can come in and trim away your excess ends that you don't need. Okay, good stuff. So we've got some more Rhea to add in at this point. So we're coming with a light blue, coming in a little bit longer than the other stuff. Again, going to come in top and bottom. Not as many strands, but still longer. So personal preference, but this is what we're going with. And then you can just spread these out once you've caught them in with a few turns. Then again, coming in with a pinch and loop on the bottom. Tighten up against the previously added fibres and then tidy up as always. Okay folks, we're on the home straight, second last material. We're going to add some blue Lady Amherst all around the front, so taking them in sort of 2s and 3s. Doesn't need to be overly exact, and you can decide how much of this you want. So I'm just going to get these on quite quickly. And again, the old trick with the Lady Amherst, come in and pinch it all and then unwind what you've just wound on, and then you can rewind, catching everything with those turns. Cuts down on the bulk at the front of the fly. And again, chop away these excess pieces and tidy up. And the last thing that we're going to add on is a bit more flash, again from Sean Stanton, but this is a blue. Keep this quite long. Just going to catch this on top with a turn. Spread it out a little bit. Come in with another turn, and then you can fold these bits back and again round about the fly. Then you can tidy up this front section and form your head. When you're happy with your head, come in and whip finish. And then all that's left to do is add some super glue to the front of the fly. Probably want to use a couple of coats. Well folks, as always, hope you enjoyed that. Really fun pattern to tie, and it definitely does the damage whenever you put it in front of a big chum. They just go for this. I'm not sure why. I think it's the colour combination, the profile, the flash, the movement, just everything about it. When these fish take, you will absolutely know about it. You'll feel as if you've just grabbed a cinder block, or you'll be watching your line fly out of the reel at high speed. Give it a go, let me know how you got on. Certainly a great fly to have in the box for Canada. As always, drop a message, comment, like, all that good stuff. Be great to hear from you. until next time, cheers.